Hey folks, welcome to Playing in Traffic. Today's episode is coming from the parking lot of Wildwood Convention Hall. And that's not what the episode's about. It's not about the parking lot. It's not about Wildwood Convention Hall. But I get sentimental about this location because this is where I really put a lot of time in to learning how to ride the one wheel. And that was around January or February of 2023, and you know, I had recovered from the pulled hamstring from user error on the one wheel, and that was right out the gate. By January and February 2023, I was in this lot just riding around, pretty much straight line riding, really, because I was just learning how to ride this thing. But just wanted to start the video off today with that mention, and now this happens. By the Wildwood sign that's at Rio Grande Avenue and the boardwalk that they're doing some painting. That's all you see. I'm doing it myself. Painting, power washing. That's all it's all over the place. People getting ready for the upcoming season, which really starts off somewhere around like Memorial Day weekend, which is less than 2 weeks away. So these Megasaurus concrete beach balls, which by the way I think is great. They're getting a coat of paint today. It looks like that's kind of what's going on over here. Which brings me to the topic of today's episode, and that's a continuation of past and present in Wildwood, New Jersey. Going to go through a few locations today and see what they look like this day in May of 2025 as opposed to what they were back in, say, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And that's what we're going to do today. And welcome to Playing in Traffic. Another chapter of this visit back into this general area of South Jersey, past and present, Wildwood, New Jersey. So you know you have, let me see if I can adjust this. You know you have, like from an early age, I had Wildwood on the brain. Because right here, I'm walking down the middle of Pine Street. And there's a hotel right here. It looks like it's been here a little bit. The location of the boardwalk, there's literally Ocean Avenue, then the boardwalk. The Ocean Avenue is cross street here, approaching up here. Quarter deck hotel. Okay, get the pool going. It's got a little look to it, but I'm going to tell you what really got a look. So right here, folks, we pan out right in this area here. So this is 310 East Pine. 310 East Pine, basically all three of these properties. So right here was this, the Harrison Hotel, or Harrison Guest Hotel. And my parents loved that place, and we stayed there. And you know what? I'm going off a recollection of this place here. And I was single digits age. And that place stuck with me, along with Wildwood and all the. It just was an amazing experience for a kid. Most of us never grew out of it. That makes sense. Some of your favorite joys of life. It is what it is. It's common sense. And you'll go back and see what it looked like and re-experience it and have the same experience with your own kids, your own family, etc., etc. But I'm going to say back in I'm going back, like way back, like 6, 7 years old. We were staying at the Harrison Hotel. And it was right over my right shoulder, right here, right about there. And let me tell you something. This place, I don't think I'm gonna really be able to provide any photos from the inside, but I remember walking through the front door, a giant staircase. I remember an older gentleman on the front porch, like a wraparound deck. I'm gonna post some of the pictures of the place. And he used to sit out there with like a collie, a dog, you know what I mean? Like, I want to say it might have been a shepherd, I'm not sure. But yo, that place was broken, so it was so freaking clean in there. They had the area rugs, like the carpets that roll up in the middle of a small aisle that was leading to the rooms. I think it was a boarding house as well. Like, so it had like community bathrooms. I'm not sure if it had its own shower each room, but man, it was so pretty. And it was right off the boardwalk. And one of the memories that I really hold on to about that, as at night we would come back off the boardwalk. It's kind of interesting, man. If I pay such a large amount of money to see my mom and my dad walking down from being on the boardwalk the one night, I would just love to see that right now. Leave in the comments if that's something. Am I the only weirdo to think? I would love to see that moving image. But anyway, so we would go into the, Harrison Hotel right up the street. And then over here, I remember looking out the window, and I always used to say to myself, you would see a roller coaster. So the roller coaster, and you can see it coming into view right now, because it's a good marker for it, is that water slide. Because when that water slide wasn't there, the Jackrabbit roller coaster was right there. I remember seeing that out the back window. So I'm assuming this hotel was probably here, and right beyond it was the Harrison Hotel. And if you looked out back, you could see the Jackrabbit wooden roller coaster, which is basically where that water slide is currently. I don't think it was the Flyer at Hunt's. Let's take a walk up there and take a peek. Yeah, had you been looking out the front of the hotel, and had it been the Flyer, that would have been a long distance, because the Flyer would have been up there where you see this little beige tan building right behind the fire hydrant. That would have been the Flyer's location. That's Old Hunts Pier. So I'm really thinking it was the Jackrabbit at Skellinger Avenue. I really think that's what the roller coaster was. But just, oh my God, it was just, how are you a little kid? I get the idea of like remembering something that was so much fun and enjoyable. But this is when I knew I liked old architecture, because as a kid, I was like just mesmerized by the way I remember it. I still remember it today, and it's just such it got a chokehold on me is what it has, really, of just remembering what it looked like. And it was here. Now you see these townhouses here. It is what it is. That part. Boarding house versus the townhouse. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going boarding house every time. Well, you know, you don't, not the boarding house where we're having meth labs in it and it's a shit show inside. Not that one. I'm talking about the ones from the 60s and 70s. The upkeep of the Harrison Hotel, in my opinion, at the time, and this is a young kid saying this, was impeccable. And I think there's some nostalgic items, vintage items at the Wildwood Museum, the Boyer Museum of the Harrison Hotel. But that's my recount of it. Past, first, present, Harrison Hotel, which was located at 310 East Pine. Okay, stop number 2 on today's episode is I'm actually at okay, I'm at 24th and Surf, and this area here, right here, with these homes here, at one time this was the Thunderbird Inn. Ready? Oh, I love this dynamic. Ready? And bang, Thunderbird Inn. And I think I stayed there once or twice. There's a historical marker right up here, not having to do with Thunderbird Inn, but I'm going to record that anyway. Thunderbird Inn. My mom loved that place, and when she moved down here back in the Wildwood, back in the mid 90s. Let's say mid 90s. And so they would frequent the Thunderbird Inn, my dad and my mom, off season. And that was all right here. And there was a gentleman in there who used to play keys. I think his name was Billy Freeze. And they'd go see him, and he'd do his thing on whatever night it was, off season, and people would go crazy. And then Thunderbird Inn also had a big pool. Really, I'm going to see the pictures of it to recollect it. It's right down the street from Maury's Pier. You can see that right here. So the location was absolutely prime. And they had a pool, and I think that was one of the few places that had, like, you could be in the pool and have drinks. They had a bar around the pool. We would stay there off season. They would run these really cool weekends, whether it was around St. Patrick's Day. They would run weekend rates to get people to come down off season, which we would do. I remember one time coming down here and in a nor'easter, which, you know, this is where you want to be for that, and having to dig out back in Philly when we left on a Sunday. That was interesting, because it was your typical nor'easter. It was a foot worth of snow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, my parents really loved the Thunderbird, and that was something. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to swing by here, because it was right behind me. And the other place that I can't seem to find, and I would like some help with this one in the comments, is a place I could have swore it was called the Manor Bar, or the Manor or something, or blah 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 blah. Reference to Manor Hotel. I'm wondering if it was in this general area across from Thunderbird. I kind of remember it like that back in the 90s. We would run over there. They'd have these little Dixie cups, like little plastic cups of beer you could buy for like 50 cents. But this was coming up on my Google search. Manor Hotel. I'm wondering if this had something to do with that. Manor suffered a devastating fire on July 11th, 1968. Oh, by the way, that's kind of what happened here in when the Thunderbird was here. I think around 2006 or 2007. That was a fire too that potentially undid any plan of redevelopment of the hotel. That's when this came up. These homes. But yeah, there we have it. Okay, look at that. Yo, look at this. Manor Supper Club attracted many entertainers over the years, including Jerry Lewis, Liberace, Eddie Fisher, wow, Mario Lanza. In the 50s. Manor. So I'm wondering if the Manor was named after that hotel and the legend of that hotel. That might have been the case. I'll do a little dig. And if you know, leave it in the comments for me, please. But yeah, Thunderbird Inn was right here, 24th and Surf. And yeah, I mean, definitely a great memory. I love that from my parents, and the occasional time that I would stop down in there. So on to the next. Somewhere right along here, I'm on Old New Jersey Ave by Walnut. I think somewhere right along here was a place called Progressions, and that's very hard to find any kind of reference whatsoever, because I don't think it was there very long. And honestly, I'm not really a bar person, and this is the bar area down in North Wildwood. But Progressions, I can't even show a picture because I don't even think there is one. Unless we took our own photos, which we didn't. But I mean, I don't have any. That place was probably one of the few bars that I ever really went into down this part of Wildwood, here in North Wildwood, Anglesey area. Behind me is the walkway. That's the seawall and whatnot. What for here? Hereford. How you pronounce it? Hereford Inlet. Hereford Inlet. But Progressions, that was like we actually got in there, and I don't think we were 21. So that was like the big, like, holy shit, we can actually get into a bar. And we went to that. And I'm talking about 1980. Ready? Let's see. I'm talking about 1980. 1986. that was happening. And the interesting thing is the cult, like, they would play like alternative rock. I don't even know what we called it back then. I don't even know if it had a name yet. And you go in there and they'd actually play some cool, like, music that punks were into, not necessarily like, you know, a Sex Pistols or Clash or something of that, and they were hardcore punk, nothing like that, but like, you know, The Cure and the Cult and Depeche Mode and Smiths and, you know, all that quality stuff like that. And we would go in there and like dance around and have a cool time. Can't find a picture of it. I just know it was there. It was called Progressions. If you remember it, what are you gonna? Someone's going to have a random picture of it? Probably not. So just wanted to make mention of that, because this place seems to really change every so often. And this place right here, I know for a fact, is where we're going to conclude today's past and present. Here is the point at Moore's Inlet. I believe that's what this is called. Another one. I keep falling back on all the stuff that my mom used to love about down here, and this was one of them right here. And I can provide a picture along with a finger snap. Okay, I can do it right now. Pow, Moore's Inlet, right there. And there's pictures. You can really validate the location of it, because I think there's a picture where, and the McDonald's is no longer there, where I think Joe Bilby, who was a owner, is in a picture with, in the background. I'm gonna see if I can find that picture. In the background you can see the McDonald's, and they were probably standing on this corner. Hold on. Picture that we were standing on this corner right here, or the corner down the end here, one or the other. I can't, it's hard to really, I don't have a great reference. I don't have a log of info to reference from, other than what I search and see on the internet. Being in Moore's a couple times. My mom loved it. She loved it. It's right on the inlet. It was an extremely popular establishment for a very, 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 very long time. And you know what? I bet you that picture had to be somewhere around here, because I actually think the McDonald's was over this way in this location here. That's no longer there either, obviously. But yeah, Moore's Inlet was really something else. We're going to go take another angle of it. And for a friend, I wanted to locate another place in this general vicinity. But let me reset and recalibrate my brain to figure out where I'm going, but let me take this new location. This was the vantage point. Say you were on the jetties. It was just like it was a bulkhead before it was a walkway, I think. Well, these jetties have been here forever. But I remember when Moore's was here, this street was here. And I remember one time my daughter, she was probably about like, maybe about, oh God, maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. And I had her in the, driving around in the van. And they had a big surf. Surf was up, folks. And you can see, we're approaching high tide, believe it or not. So this is what it looks like now. But right along here, the water was smashing against these rocks and whatnot, and would just fly over into the street. So if you were driving through here, your car would get washed in salt water nonetheless, which is probably great for your brakes. But it was fun to entertain my daughter, especially during hurricane season. If I'm not mistaken, that was what was going on that day. But this was where Moore's was. I mean, this location is absolutely unbelievable. You got the beach right there. You come right off the beach, go right to Moore's. And there was one other place that a friend of mine had mentioned to me that I think I'm going to try to close out if I can find it. I'm going to close out today's video right here at Walnut Ave and Old New Jersey, because right in this location here was, bang, Wally's Cafe. And that's what this is what it looks like now. Now you see what it looked like then. And there's a great, I'm going to see if I can find a way to put the link to a story that was on the internet that I found, so well written about this place. I think it stopped, the gentleman that owned it passed in 1978, and he, you can see we're only a couple blocks from the inlet right here with the Atlantic Ocean on the other side down there. You can see that. So what really was the case? So you see that white building, that's been there. I think that's pretty much been there for a while. But then you got right to the left of that was Moore's Inlet. This yellow building here was the Red Garter. And then right here was Wally's Cafe. Yeah, that business ended in 1973. So that's going back a ways. And I think, I swear to God, right down the street on this side, this side, no, don't do that. See, I'm in reverse. That side was Progressions. So this is still the spot. This is still the spot where people come down and get some drinks and be by the water and all that good stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to make a note of that about Wally's Cafe, about Moore's Inlet. That was right here. I'm staring at it now, where it was. A lot of entertainment here. A lot of great memories for people. And then, of course, we're here. And this was a place people would wander to after spending hours upon hours here and there. I don't know. I forget if this always was a parking lot. I don't remember. But you know, you had all this right here, and all the way up that street is all just watering holes, and then people would find their way over here. Oh goodness! Yeah, for any number of reasons, be over here. That may very well be the height. I don't know. The jetty's right over top. And you have that. And that water was right up against it. Right up against this right here. Maybe a couple clicks off. But a full moon and a high tide, and it was splashing in. Thanks for checking in today. Really appreciate you watching. Hey, tell a friend. Coming up on 700 subscribers. And just going to continue doing what I do. Oh, by the way, May 23rd, it's a Friday night. Let's flash that punk rock flyer up there. The Heels, Low Fast, and I think it's 3 THO. I'm going to get confirmation about exactly how to say that properly without getting them completely laughed at. I mean, I like people laughing at me anyway. I really don't care. I do enjoy that, so I do care. Anyway, have a great day, pleasant tomorrow. Get out there, get some fresh air. And here from Anglesey, North Wildwood area. That's Mikey Heels, and I'm over and out May 23rd, Friday night at the L Bar. Come out and see the Heels. Come out and see Low Fast. Come out and see 3THO. It's going to be a great night.